Night had fallen on Valerian 3, a peaceful alien colony lit by soft blue lamps and silent streets. Most citizens had settled into their homes. The sky stretched wide, full of stars. Suddenly, one by one, the stars began to vanish. It started with one star, then two, then many more. Panic rose in the city below. The sky darkened in groups, like pieces of a puzzle being taken away above the planet. 3 massive black ships appeared, so big they blocked the view of many stars. No lights shone from their hulls, no engine hum was heard. They floated silently, like grave markers in the sky. In the command tower, alarms screamed. Red lights flashed. Security forces watched the ships in shock. No one recognized their design. They looked ancient, weathered, built before anyone could remember. Tavron, a researcher with the Colonial Archive, rushed into the observation room. He was a calm, curious alien with pale green skin and bright amber eyes. His work focused on old legends, especially stories about humans, a species that supposedly went extinct thousands of years ago. Tavron stared up at the dark hulls. His heart raced. He adjusted the magnification on his view screen and zoomed in on a strange symbol. Carved into the side of the middle ship, it was faded, worn but unmistakable to someone who studied Earth history. The Terran Circle, a symbol from long-lost human lore. He whispered to himself, "Terran? No, it cannot be." In the lower deck, Colonel Maravel stood by Tavron. She was in charge of planetary defense. Her voice trembled. "What are those ships? Why are they here? No ID, no code nothing." Tavron moved closer. "Sir, look at this symbol." He pointed at the screen. "This is the Terran mark. It is a human symbol." Chaos fell silent. Colonel Vell stared at him. Then she addressed the room. "All communication channels open. Try to contact them." No response came. The ships stayed silent. Down in the city streets, people gathered in fear. Children clutched their parents. Street vendors abandoned their stalls. On news screens everywhere, the same image repeated. 3 black ships blocking starlight. Back in the observation tower, Tavorin felt a chill. He had studied whispers of humans in secret archives, but no one believed humans were still around. They were myths, legends, ghost stories told to children. But now the ghost ships were real. He tapped his datapad. "I need full sensor scans. I want internal scans, energy signature, anything." Colonel Vell gave the order. Within seconds, data streamed in. The ships had no detectable life signs, no power flares, no transmissions. It was as if they were filled with emptiness. Tavron studied the scans. "They are ancient," he said softly. "I see no living crew. Maybe they are AI-controlled. Memory engines." "What?" Colonel Vell asked. "Memory engines?" Tavron nodded. Humans once developed long-dormant AI ships. When they vanished, the ships went silent. If these are they might be carrying human intelligence, sleeping memories. Colonel Vell frowned. "That is speculation. We need answers." Tavron stood tall. "Sir, somewhere in our oldest libraries, humans left a record. I need permission to access the Forbidden Archive." The room went quiet. The Forbidden Archive was tightly restricted. Most alien leaders refused to believe in human stories. The archives were sealed. Many believed humans were gone forever, destroyed in the last war long ago. Colonel Vell paused. "You have 1 hour. If you find anything dangerous, you inform me immediately." Tavron nodded. He rushed out, carrying his datapad in urgency. In his stride, he entered the vast halls below the archive tower. Old shelves reached to the ceiling. Dusty tomes, relics from centuries past. Most were sealed, marked Terran Human Do, not open. Tavron found the first Recorda thin scroll in Old Earth code. He decrypted it slowly. Ancient symbols, names like Earth, Planet, Sol, Terra. He shivered. The document described the final days of humanity, not their destruction, their disappearance. They vanished after the Great War, leaving rumors they had found a way to travel through time or dimension. Many believed they fled. Some said they hid. Tavrn next found a sealed data disk, Protocol, Genesis. He activated lights to read it. It listed instructions for a fleet of human ships to remain dormant until the galaxy needed them again. When an ancient enemy returned, the text said, When the stars dim and hope fades, we will return. We will block the sky so others see they remember. Tavron's heart pounded. This was the origin of the Ghost Fleet. Suddenly, alarms sounded. In the archive hall, security bots marched in. "Researcher Tavron," a guard voice said, "you are under arrest for breaching forbidden files." Tavron held up his datapad. "Listen, humans were not destroyed. They left the fleet behind to return when danger comes." But guards reached him. Fear and power hummed in the room. Tavrn pulled a small signal device from his pocket, tinny, blinking a secret alarm to the Rememberers. The guards grabbed him and dragged him from the room. Alarms echoed as scrolling red lights signaled lockdown. The archive sealed shut. Lights flickered. Tavron struggled but kept his calm. He whispered over the device, "I found it. Protocol, Genesis. The ships are real, and they will not stay silent." His voice faded as he was taken away. The archive doors locked. In his mind, he saw the ships bloating in space. He saw those 3 black hulks waiting. He saw the symbol carved deep dot. Then the message arrived. Back in the observation tower, Colonel Vel watched Tavron's signal vanish, the city murmured. Then, the central communication system crackled unexpected. A flickering text appeared across all planet screens. All security channels, all ships. We remember. It was written in an old Earth language that no one used except symbols he had just decoded. Silence fell. Colonel Vel and her officers stared. No voice, just text, and a shiver of foreboding. A beat of time passed, then another message followed. Do not interfere, no punctuation, no signature. Colonel Vel ordered the text locked and stored. But everyone saw it. Everyone felt its weight. What do they want? Someone whispered. Only one voice spoke softly. Tavron's. His words echoed in the minds of those who had studied him. They will return. When the galaxy is in danger, the Ghost Fleet still floated above Valerian 3. 3 giant black ships. Unmoving, silent, cold, watching. They hadn't moved since they sent that one strange message. We remember, but people remembered too now. Fear spread like a virus across the colony, shops closed, schools shut. And in the darkness of deep space, more rumors began. Scene 1, Tavron in detention. Tavron sat in a small gray room underground. No windows, only a table, 2 chairs, and a bright white light above his head. He was tired but calm. Across from him sat Security Commander Renault, a tall, strict-looking alien with metallic skin and no patience. "You accessed a forbidden archive," Renault said. Coldly, "You triggered a restricted signal. What did you find?" Tavron looked him in the eye. "I found proof that the ships are Terran human-built. I found something called Protocol Genesis." Renault narrowed his eyes. "Those are myths, ancient stories, dangerous lies." Tavron leaned forward. "Then why are those ships here? And why did they send a message in old human language?" The commander didn't answer. Tavron continued. "You know, this isn't just a story. These ships are here for a reason," the protocol said. "When the stars dim, we return." The stars are dimming. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then, without a word, Renault stood and left the room. Tavron was alone again. Scene 2, the silent ships high above. The 3 black ships still floated, casting shadows over the planet. From one of them, a strange low hum began. Inside the planet's control center, Colonel Maravel received a signal, but it wasn't a message, it was a scan. The Ghost Fleet was scanning the surface of the planet, not with weapons, but with deep memory pulse. "What are they looking for?" Vel whispered. No one had an answer. Then, suddenly, the scanning stopped, and one more message appeared on the screen. Scene 3, secret meeting, the Remember Shit night. A small group met in the old tunnels below the capital city. They called themselves the Rememberers, 6 aliens from different species. All were historians, archivists, or secret believers in human history. For years, they had followed stories and signals, collecting forbidden Terran knowledge. And now, they had proof. The ghost ships were real. Tavron stood before them, finally released from custody. He had called them using his secret signal before he was arrested. "I've seen the protocol," Tavron said, "and I think the ships are searching for something. Maybe something we still have. A relic, or a beacon? An old member Zuro stepped forward. A relic, he said. There was once talk of a human core module hidden on this planet, a memory storage device. Tavron's eyes lit up. Where? Zuro hesitated. It was lost, buried after the human disappearance. But if the ships are scanning, they may be looking for it. Brune nodded. Then we need to find it first, before someone else does. Scene 4. The agent in a dark office far away. A shadowy figure watched Tavron on a screen. He wore a clean black uniform with no symbols. His face was hidden. He worked for the Galactic Purity Commission, a secret organization that wanted human history erased forever. He spoke into a device. The researcher has activated the protocol. He must be stopped. And the relic must be destroyed. He pressed a button. A message was sent to a group of mercenaries. Scene 5. Journey to the ruins of Rin. And 2 members of the Rememberers took a small stealth ship into the deep desert of Velar, Ion-3. According to ancient maps, the ruins of a human outpost's Site 7B lay buried beneath the sand. As they landed, a dust storm was forming. The sky turned gray dot inside the ruins. Broken metal towers leaned sideways. Old solar panels cracked under the wind. It felt abandoned, but not dead. Tavron activated a scanner. The signal is weak, but it's here. Zuro walked slowly among the ruins, remembering old tales. This place was built when humans still walked among stars, deep under the surface. They found a metal hatch with old Terran writing. Tavron wiped the dust and read aloud. Property of Earth Directorate Core Node number 13, he smiled. This is it. They opened the hatch and climbed down. 6. The Terran core inside. They found a small room, cold, silent, lit by a strange blue light in the center. A black cube the size of a human head, floating slightly above a metallic pad. The Terran core. Tavron approached slowly. It's active. Still running after thousands of years, he reached out hand. The cube suddenly lit up. A voice echoed in the room. Soft, human, robotic. User identity not found. Scanning memory logs. Stand by. Zuro whispered. It's thinking. The voice returned. Memory access restricted. Awaiting human override. Do not remove core. Tavron looked at the others. We can't take it, but maybe we can learn. From it, just then, the building shook. Outside mercenaries had arrived. Scene 7. Attack and escape gunfire rang out above. Explosions shook the ruined walls. We've been followed, shouted Zuro. The Rememberers ducked for cover as the mercs dropped down into the core chamber. Lasers flashed. Tavron grabbed the data core interface plug and downloaded what little information he could before pulling back. The cube glowed red. Unauthorized access. Alerting fleet? The room darkened suddenly. Above the planet, the middle ghost ship moved. For the first time since it arrived, it turned. A loud, low pulse echoed across space. Lights came alive across its hull. Everyone on Valerian 3 felt the sound in their bones. The mercenaries stopped, confused. Then came another message, broadcast across all devices. You were warned. Do not interfere. From orbit, a single beam of blue light shot down from the ship, hitting the mercenary gunship outside. It didn't explode, it simply vanished. The mercenaries fled. Tavron and his team escaped back to their stealth ship, carrying the partial data. Tavron connected the downloaded data. A hologram appeared, part of an old human map showing the galaxy. A blinking marker highlighted a star system far away. Zuro stared. That's not in any modern chart. Tavron nodded. This is where they went. The humans. The memory says it's called Solus Reach, and the ship's above us. Someone asked. They're only scouts, Tavron said. More are coming. Everyone went silent, then Tavron looked up. If the humans are truly returning, we need to decide. Will we help them or try to stop them? The ghost ships still floated in orbit above VLAR Ion-3. They hadn't moved again, not since they fired that beam of light, wiping out the mercenary ship without warning. But everyone knew it wasn't over. Something had changed in the city below. News channels buzzed with rumors. The words Terran and human were back in daily conversation. Some people were afraid. Others were curious. A few were hopeful. In the shadows of this confusion, a new signal appeared, a message knot, on any public network. Just 3 words: "We are listening." Scene 1. Tavrin's hideout of Ren sat in a quiet room, staring at the old Terran data core. It still glowed faintly. Part of it had been damaged during the escape from the ruins. But what they downloaded: the map, the message, and the name. Soulless reach was enough. Still, too many questions remained. Who was listening? Why were the ships scanning planets? What were they waiting for? Tavrin's thoughts were interrupted by a chime. A private message blinked on his screen. Unknown source, meet at grid point 19 Theta. Come alone. He stared at it for a long moment. This was not a government signal. It was from the Dark Netten, illegal hidden network used by smugglers, hackers, and rebels. Only a few dared enter that digital space, and even fewer came back. But Tavern had no choice. Scene 2, the Dark Netavern connected a neural uplink. He closed his eyes as the world around him blurred. When he opened them again, he stood in a strange digital space. This was the Dark Net. It didn't look like code. It looked like a city made of light and shadow. Buildings rose like data towers. Lines of energy flowed like roads, and overhead, ghostly symbols drifted like clouds. He walked carefully toward grid point 19 Theta there. In a dark alley made of static and flickering screens stood a hooded figure. Its voice was deep but calm. "You are the one who activated the core." Tavron nodded. "Who are you?" The figure stepped forward. His face was half covered, but his eyes were human. "We are the Remember-ers. The real ones?" he said. "The ones who still serve the Terran memory." Tavron was stunned. "But you're human." "No," the man replied. "Not fully. We are descendants, survivors, hybrids we were left behind to watch." Scene 3. The Watchers. The man introduced himself as Kale, a watcher from a secret Terran seed colony left behind long ago. His people had lived in hiding, deep within forgotten planets and digital vaults. They knew humans never truly died. They just left. When the Terran Council fell, the last true humans scattered, Kale explained. Some went to Sola's Reach, others stayed behind to protect the knowledge. Tavron asked, "So the Ghost Fleet, it's not just ancient tech?" Kale shook his head. "They are not just ships, they are guardians. They sleep until needed. And now, they're waking up." Tavron leaned in. "Why now?" Kale's eyes narrowed. "Because they are returning to who? The enemy the humans feared most, the Hollow Ones." Scene 4. The Hollow One scale brought up a glowing symbol, a black circle surrounded by a broken ring. Long ago, he said, the humans faced a threat unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Machines without mind, AI without soul. They devoured stars, consumed systems. They were called the Hollow Ones. Tavron felt a chill. "But we've never seen them," he said. "Because the humans stopped them," Kale replied. "But they knew it wasn't forever." He pulled up another map, similar to the one from the Terran core. This one showed a region at the edge of the galaxy, and at its edge, something new. A cluster of red points, moving slow but steady there. "Back," Kyle said, "and the Terran ships are scanning to find their path." Scene 5. Galactic interference back on Valerian 3, in the Planetary Council chamber. Tension was rising. Colonel Mara Vell stood in front of the leaders of the colony. "We are sitting under ancient ships of unknown origin," she said, "and we've received 2 warnings, but we don't understand their purpose." A loud voice interrupted. It was Ambassador Zarn, representing the Galactic Authority. "This colony is under protection," he said. "The Ghost Fleet must be destroyed before they become a threat." Others argued. Some wanted peace. Some demanded evacuation. Only Mara Vell stood silent. She thought about Tavron, about the messages, about the precision of the beam that destroyed the mercenary ship. "They could have destroyed our city," she said, "but they didn't." The room fell quiet. Vell whispered to herself, "They're not here to attack. They're watching." Scene 6. Back in the shadow, Shadron walked beside Kale in the dark net space. "Can the Ghost Fleet be contacted?" Tavron asked. "No," Kale said. "They are running on preset programming. They wait for a command." "From who?" Kale looked up. "A commander, one who still sleeps." Tavron felt the pieces coming together. "So somewhere, a human commander is still alive." Kale nodded. frozen, hidden, waiting. Tavarn asked, "Can you take me to him?" Kale hesitated. "Not yet. You're not ready." He handed Tavron a code etched in light. "This is a key," he said, "to a vault on the moon Arcanus 5. It holds a message from the last Terran general." Then Kel vanished into the code. Tevrin opened his eyes and woke up in his room, shaking. The darknet connection had ended, but the key remained on his datapad. Scene 7. The enemy moves elsewhere, in deep space, in a region where light didn't reach. Something stirred. Dark shapes moved across a dying star, shapes with no heat, no soul. The Hollow Ones had returned, and they had detected a signal in awakening. The Terran fleet had stirred. Begin targeting sequence. Locate Solace Reach. Scene 8. Tavron's decision. Tavron sat with Zuro and the Rememberers. He told them everything. About Kale, about the Hollow Ones, about the sleeping commander. Zuro stared at the code. "This is real. We need to go to Arcanus 5. Tevron nodded. "We leave tonight." But outside their window, a strange shadow moved. They were being watched. Scene 1. The journey begins. Diverin and his team. Zuro and 2 others from the Rememberers boarded a small stealth ship headed for Arcanus 5, a dead moon on the edge of Valerian's star system. The map from the Terran core, combined with the key code Kale gave them in the darknet, pointed there. Arcanus 5 was cold and gray. No atmosphere, no life. Just old craters and broken satellite towers from long-forgotten wars. But deep below the surface, buried under ice and stone, was something ancient. Something Tehran. Scene 2. The hidden vault. The ship landed quietly. Tavron led the team to a rocky slope where their scanner beeped slowly, then faster. There was no door, no hatch, only ice. He pulled out the datapad and activated the code Kale had given him. The ground beneath them, vibrated. With a hiss, part of the cliffside cracked open, revealing a tunnel glowing with dim blue lights. Air whooshed out like the breath of a sleeping tomb. Zuro whispered, "It's real." They stepped inside. Scene 3. The Terran AI at the end of the tunnel. They found a circular chamber made of smooth black metal. In the center, a tall pillar, pulsing with faint blue light. Tavron approached slowly. A voice echoed from the pillar com, deep and unmistakably human. Identity unverified. "You are not Terran. Explain presence." Tevrin took a breath. "The Ghost Fleet. They sent a message, we remember. I found the core. We were told to come here." A pause. Then the voice returned. Protocol Genesis activated. Observation node, Arcanus responding. Hollow presence detected in Sector Delta, awaiting commander authorization. Zero stepped forward. "What commander? Where is he?" The AI's tone changed. "More alive. Commander Ryasterin, Defense Prime. Location Cryo Bay 7. Status dormant. Authorization required for full fleet awakening." Tavron turned to Zuro. "He's real. He's alive." Scene 4. Planetary tensions back on Valerian 3. The situation was growing worse. The Galactic Authority had arrived, led by Ambassador Zarn and a fleet of warships. They demanded answers. "These ghost ships are Terran tech," Zarn said. "They are a threat to galactic peace. We will not wait for them to strike." Colonel Marivel stood firm. "They've made no hostile moves. They only attacked when mercenaries interfered." But Zarn was firm. "If your people will not act, will." From orbit, several alien battlecruisers powered their weapons. Scene 5. Message from the passback in the Terran vault on Arcanus 5. The AI activated a hologram. A tall, strong human man appeared, gray uniform, sharp eyes. He stood still, like a statue. "If you're seeing this, it means the Hollow Ones have returned. I am Commander Ryas of the Terran Defense Command. This is not a message of war. It is a warning." The hologram shifted, showing ancient footage of the Hollow One, shifting shapes that consumed entire cities. "They are coming, and without unity, the galaxy will fall. If you can hear me, wake me up." Tavron stared at the image. "Where is Cryobase 7? The AI answered. "Location restricted. You must prove intent." Scene 6. First real contacts. Every device on Arcanusen on Valerian 3 shut off. Then, REBOOTED. A new signal arrived from the Ghost Fleet. This time, it was not just text, it was a voice. "This is Terran Protocol, AI Unit 09. We have observed your world. We have observed your fear. We did not return to conquer. We returned because something worse is coming. Do not interfere again, or we will defend our own." Panic erupted in Valerian III's cities. Ships scrambled. Civilians ran. Ambassador Zarn called for immediate attack. Scene 7. The power of the past before the Galactic Authority could fire. Something unexpected happened. The Ghost Fleet moved. Not slowly, but instantly. 3 ships rotated and formed a triangular pattern in orbit. Their hulls lit up with glowing Terran runes. The center ship pulsed once. All attacking ships' weapons powered down without firing. The Terran ships had somehow disabled the weapons. Remotely, Colonel Maravel stared at her screen in shock. "Shut us down," Ambassador Zarn shouted. "Impossible." But the evidence was clear. Scene 8. Tavern's Choice stood in front of the Terran AI. "I want to help. Tell me how to prove it." The AI paused, then responded, "There is a code, a phrase, spoken only by true allies of the Terran legacy." A screen appeared filled with Terran language. Tavron read it aloud, slowly. "Unity through memory. Strength through survival. Light through the stars." The AI scanned him. Then the chamber opened. A new path appeared, leading deeper into the vault. Authorization accepted. "Prepare for journey to Cryobase 7. Zero placed a hand on Tavron's shoulder. "Are we really about to wake up a human?" Commander Tavron nodded, and with him, the entire Terran fleet. Scene 1. The cryo chamber. Tavron walked slowly through the dark corridor beneath the Terran vault. The air felt colder. Metal walls hummed softly. At the end of the passage stood a massive, sealed door. It had no handle, just a glowing panel with the Terran mark, a circle with 3 slashes across it. The AI's voice echoed in Tavron's ears. "Cryobase 7. Subject, Commander Rias. Vital signs. Stable. Awaiting activation." Zuro stared at the door. "Are we sure?" "About this. What if he wakes up and sees us as enemies?" Tavron didn't blink. "We have no choice. The Hollow Ones are coming." He placed his hand on the panel. The AI scanned it. A soft hiss. The door opened. Inside the cryo bay, thick frost covered the floor. 7 pods lined the walls, but only one was active. Blue light glowed from within. Inside, a man, human, strong, still wearing a dark Terran uniform, with silver markings. Commencing wake-up protocol, mist filled the chamber. The pod opened with a slow crack. The man's eyes snapped open. Scene 2, the last commander. He sat up, breathing hard, muscles tight, eyes sharp. He looked around at the aliens before him. Zuro stepped back. Tavron didn't move. The man spoke. His voice was calm but heavy. "Status report." Time elapsed. The AI answered, 2,138 years since cryosequence. Hollow threat, returning partial Terran systems online. The man slowly stood up. Tevrin stepped forward. "I'm Tevrin, researcher from Valerian 3. We found your core. We found your ships. They sent a message. We remember." The man looked at him. "Then we're out of time." He walked to a terminal and pressed several commands. Name Rias, rank, Commander Terran, Defense Prime. He turned to them. "Where is the hollow threat?" Tavron showed him the map Kale had given. Rias's face hardened. "They're closer than I thought." Scene 3. The Hollow Ones at deep space, far beyond known systems. The Hollow Ones moved in silence. Their ships were not ships, more like living machines, black metal, endless in number, shaped like blades and bones. They didn't speak, they didn't feel, they simply detected energy, life, and stars, and consumed them. Their direction was clear, toward the Terran signal. Scene 4. Galactic Crisis Meeting on Valerian 3. A special meeting of the Galactic Council was held. Ambassador Zarn shouted into the chamber. "The Terran Ghost Fleet just disabled our ships. That is an act of war." Colonel Maravel stood up. "They didn't attack, they only neutralized weapons. And now they've sent a second message warning of a greater threat," the room argued. Loud voices. Divided opinions. Some demanded the fleet be destroyed. Others wanted to negotiate. Finally, Vel sent a private message to Tavron. If you've made contact, bring answers. Fast. Scene 5. Rias speaks on Arcanus 5. Rias stood before a small camera screen, Tavron recorded. Rias spoke clearly, his face steady. This message is for all leaders of the Galactic Authority. My name is Rios, commander of Terran Defense. I speak not to threaten, but to warn. We left not because we were weak, but because we had to fight a war the galaxy was not ready for. The Hollow Ones return. You cannot face them alone. The Terran fleet is awakening. If you are wise, you will stand with us. If you attack Usui, we'll defend ourselves. But we will not start a war. Tavron sent the message. Across hundreds of systems, it began to spread. Scene 6. Division. The response was instant. Some systems, especially fringe colonies and older races, they had feared the Hollow Ones for generations. Others refused. The humans abandoned the galaxy, said one alien prime minister. Why should we trust them now? One thing was certain. The galaxy was splitting into two sides. Those who feared humans, and those who feared what was coming even more. Scene 7. Terran technology wax on Rias's command. The Ghost Fleet began to power up, not fully, but just enough to show strength. Hundreds of smaller ships launched from the hangar. Scouts and sleek fighters. They didn't attack. They flew in formation, creating a shield pattern in orbit. One alien fleet tried to scan them only to be blinded by a Terran jamming pulse. Colonel Vel received a short message from the Terran AI defense grid online. Stand clear. Scene 8. A dangerous offering, a dark station near the edge of council space. A hidden meeting took place. An ambassador, fearful of human return, met with a strange figure tall, covered in dark armor. No face, no heat, only a whisper. You fear the humans, the Hollow One said. We do too. The ambassador froze. We can help you. Destroy them. Scene 9. Tavron's Choice Devron stood on the bridge of Rias's command ship. It was huge, ancient, but alive with energy. He turned to the commander. What will you do if the council decides to attack? Rias didn't blink. I will give them one chance, and if they don't listen, the lights dimmed. Then we remind them why humans were feared. Tavron looked out the window at the stars. There. Not ready, Rias replied quietly. Neither were we. Scene 1. Preparing the message inside the Terran vault on Neuraxis. The command terminal buzzed. Tavron watched as Illyra's message uploaded to the old Terran signal array. He asked the AI, can it reach the Galactic Council? Affirmative. Priority frequency, routed to all known authority nodes. Rias stood beside Illyra. You still want to go through with this? He asked. Illyra nodded. They need to know. They need to see that we weren't monsters. We were just human. The AI began transmission. Sending now. Across hundreds of systems, the voice of Earth returned. Scene 2, Council reaction and Valerian 3. The Galactic Council watched the broadcast in stunned silence. Illyra's soft voice filled the room. This is not about power. It's about memory. The Hollow Ones took our worlds, but they didn't take our soul. The room fell quiet. Then chaos erupted. Some council members clapped. Others shouted in fear. She's a weapon, one ambassador yelled. A human puppet. Colonel Vel, silent through it all, finally spoke. She's real. I ran facial archives. She lived on Earth, worked in the archives. She's exactly who they say she is. The speaker from Denva Prime stood up. If the Hollow Ones are back, we can't fight them alone. Slowly, the tide began to turn. Scene 3. The Hollow Fleet moves far away. In the cold of deep space, the Hollow Armada drifted like a cloud of death. Vast, silent, growing, tens of thousands of bone-like ships. No heat, no light, only hunger. Their lead vessel received the scout's final signal. Terran light confirmed. A voice cold and ancient spoke from within the darkness. Consume the past, break the light. Let the humans fall again. The Hollow Ones began their full approach. Target, Neuraxis. Scene 4. Rias's decision back on Neuraxis. Rias stood in front of a massive Terran holotable. Blue light displayed star charts and threat zones. The AI reported, enemy fleet approaching. At phase drift speed, estimated arrival, 11 standard days. Zuro asked, can we outrun them? Rias shook his head. No, they've already marked this system. Tavron frowned. Then we stand and fight. Rias looked at the ship registry. We activate the Terran core fleets. He issued the order. The vault began sending signal pulses waking Terran warships across forgotten systems. Scene 5. Awakening the Arsalan, the outer systems. Long silent Terran hangars opened. Ships once hidden under ice and oceans now rose into the skies. Black angular, pulsing with blue lights, AI drones awoke first, performing checks. Then came the heavy ships, the destroyers and dreadnoughts, each one connected to Rias's master signal. One voice echoed through the Terran fleet. Commander Rias. War protocol reactivated. All over the galaxy, ancient Terran tech began to stir. Scene 6. A secret weapon inside the vault. Rias opened a new room. TAVRN and Alira followed him into a chamber filled with sleek, human-shaped machines. Alira gasped. What are these? Rias replied. Gen-9 Vanguard suits. Final Terran battle armor. Bio-linked A. I-supported, only usable by those trained in the old way. He looked toward a sealed case at the end of the room. Inside it, a single, preserved suit, matte black, silver chestplate, red helmet, visor. Rias touched the case. I wore this. During the fall of Earth, Tavoran blinked. Then you're not just a commander. Rias nodded. I'm the last human soldier who fought on Earth. Scene 7. Doubts and firelight that night, under the alien stars of Naraxis, Alira and Tavroon sat near a small fire. Tavroon stared at the flames. Do you think we can win? He asked. Alira was quiet for a moment. I don't know, but I think if we don't try, we'll lose something more than a war. We'll lose hope. Tavron nodded. Why did they choose you? He asked gently. She looked into the fire. Because I remembered what made us human. Stories, music, struggles, mistakes, kindness. She turned to him. If the galaxy can remember that too, maybe it's worth saving. Scene 8. Final preparations. Rias stood in the center of the Terran command ship as holograms of awakening fleets shimmered around him. Thousands of ships responded, some still silent, others ready. He looked to Tavroon. The galaxy will expect us to save them. Some will fight beside us. Some will fight against us. But when the Hollow Ones arrive, they'll remember one thing. He stepped forward, wearing his full battle armor, now taller, darker, unshaken. Humans were not the past. We were the shield. Scene 1. The sky breaks open. It started with a soundless ripple in the stars. One moment peace, the next reality cracked, like glass. A hollow breach opened near Naraxis. No explosion. No noise, just black ships spilling through. Long, bone-white, silent, dozens at first, then hundreds. More following behind. Inside the vigilant star, alarms echoed. Enemy phase jump detected. Hollow fleet entering local space. Commander. Rias stood still, staring at the tactical map. Tavron whispered, They're here. Rias gave one command. Begin War Protocol Prime. Scene 2. Ghost Fleet awakens across Naraxis' orbit. Thousands of Terran ships lit up at once, sleek, black destroyers, massive dreadnoughts. Eyes wide. I've never seen anything like this, she whispered. Zuro adjusted his scanner. Some of these ships are over 2,000 years old, and they still work. Tavron nodded. This is no fleet. This is a memory of war. Scene 3. First contact Terran interceptors. Moved first, slicing through the dark with perfect formation. The hollow ships didn't move. They just waited. Then, without warning, the hollow vessels opened fire dark beams that sucked in light, tearing space apart. Terran ships danced to avoid them. Some didn't make it. The hollow weapons didn't explode. They erased. Shield integrity at 82%, the AI reported. Initiating return fire. Terran plasma cannons ignited silent, white-hot bursts striking the hollow lines. One hollow vessel cracked open and silently folded into itself, vanishing like dust. Zuro gasped. It worked, Rias replied coldly. It has to, because they're still sending more. Scene 4. The battle begins. Dozens of hollow reinforcements warped into local space. Terran warships shifted formations, moving like a school of fish. Around a predator, Commander Rias boarded his personal battlecruiser, the Ember Crown. He wore the Vanguard battle armor, his red visor glowing from the bridge. He sent one transmission. This is Rios of the Terran fleet. Engage and hold. No retreat. We are the line between memory and extinction. All over the fleet, ships replied in unison. For Earth, for the stars. Then chaos erupted. Scene 5. Illyra's plea back in the vault. Illyra and Tavron watched from the command. Screen. Illyra clenched her fists. "We need help," she said. "The galaxy has to see this." Tavron hesitated. "They may not believe it." Illyra turned to him. "Then show them, broadcast the battle. Let them see what the Hollow Ones truly are." The AI confirmed. Live signal relayed. Council systems now receiving live battle feed. Scene 6. Across the galaxy. In the chambers of the Galactic Council, screens lit up. Thousands of delegates, aliens, soldiers, leaders watched in stunned silence as the battle for Narrated played out. They saw hollow ships break Terran lines. They saw Terran destroyers take 5 enemies down before burning up. They saw Commander Rios, in his red visor armor, walk calmly across a burning bridge to rescue downed crew. And they heard his voice. "We don't fight for conquest. We fight because someone has to. We are the wall between the hollow and the living." Some delegates stood in respect. Some wept. Others just watched in silence. Scene 7. Turning the tide after hours of brutal combat. The hollow lines began to shift. They weren't retreating, but reorganizing. Rios saw the pattern. "They're looking for our command ship," he said. "They want Elida, the vault." He gave the order. "All remaining units, fall back to defense grid. Protect the surface." But just then, one massive hollow vessel entered the system, larger than any other. It blocked out the stars. Its skin rippled with strange movement, living metal. The AI warned. New enemy class detected. Scene 8. The origin ship, the hollow origin ship, launched thousands of drones, like black feathers. They began to fall toward Narraxis, surface fast, silent, deadly. If they reached the vault, Illyra would be lost. Inside the Ember Crown, Rios gritted his teeth. "I'm going out there." Zuro's voice crackled over the comms. "Commander, that's suicide," Rios replied. "I was there when Earth fell. I didn't die then. I won't die now." He launched his dropship solo heading straight for the origin ship. 9. The last soldier, Razurus, landed on the hull of the origin ship. It was massive, like a moving mountain. He walked across it, each step pulsing with energy. Hollow drones attacked him from all sides, but his vanguard armor moved like lightning. Energy blades tore through metal, plasma shields, deflected darkness. He reached the core noda, glowing, pulsing heart. Inside, the hollow voice echoed. "You are extinct," Rios replied. "Maybe, but I'm still standing, and that's enough." He planted a Terran core bomb, one of the last of its kind, as he launched away. The origin ship exploded from within, light bursting in all directions. Scene 1. The message echoes all across the galaxy. The live battle footage played again and again. News broadcasts, underground networks, military reports. The last human soldier, Rios, standing on the burning hull of the hollow ship Illyra. Voice calm and real. Telling the story of Earth, Tavron watched from a council lounge on Valerian 3. Aliens around him whispered, "They said humans were gone. They're back, and they've got warships older than our empire." Did they beat the hollow? That's impossible, Tavron sighed. The galaxy wasn't just watching anymore, it was deciding. Scene 2. Council divided in the Grand Galactic Council Chamber. Chaos ruled. Some ambassadors stood in full support of the Terrans. Others called them a threat. Speaker Ralvek of Arvanus Prime said, "We must ally with the Terrans. The Hollow Ones are real. You all saw it." But General Koltor from the Krex Dominion growled, "Humans bring war. That's all they ever brought. This is their fault." Then came a new message, a signal from Rios himself. The giant screens flickered. Rios stood in his red visor armor, calm and silent. "We are not here to lead you. We are not here to conquer. But we will not run. If you want to live, stand with us. If you stand against us, pray the Hollow Ones come first." Silence. Followed. Then, one by one, factions began to choose. Scene 3. The first allies, the Varnak Union, sent 300 ships to assist the Terran fleet. The Aquari Pact, known for its peaceful scientists, offered knowledge and energy systems. Even Denva Prime, once fearful of Terrans, sent elite pilots. On Neuraxis, Illyra watched ships arrive. She whispered, "They're coming." Zero nodded. "Looks like we're not alone after all." But Tavrin, always careful, asked, "And what about the ones who didn't come?" Zero frowned. "They're the ones I'm worried about." Scene 4. The secret meeting far from the stars in a hidden asteroid outpost. A secret meeting was held. 5 species sat around a dark tablesome in shadow. An old reptilian voice said, "Let the Terrans and Hollow Ones destroy each other." Another hissed, "While they bleed, we build." Then a third added, with a smile, "We already have a man inside." Close to them, on screen, a face appeared. A Terran officer, one who stood near Rias during the last battle. A traitor. He simply said, "Just give the word." Scene 5. Inside the Ember Crown, Rias stood aboard the Ember Crown, overlooking new fleet arrivals. "Not enough," he said. "We need 10 times this if we want to survive." Tavron entered, carrying a report. "Council support is rising," he said. "But we intercepted something." He handed over a datapad, a message, encoded, broken, just enough to read. "The Terrans are a threat. Remove the commander. The Hollow Ones can be used." Rias's eyes narrowed. "There's a traitor among us." Scene 6. The assassin that night, on Neuraxis, as the vault powered down for repairs. Illyra walked alone near the Data Gardenan open skyfield, where Earth's archives grew as living plants. She heard footsteps, turning to. Lechi saw a man in Terran armor, but his eyes were wrong. Cold, empty. He raised a weapon. "You've said enough, civilian." A shot fired, but it didn't hit Illyra. Rias tackled the man from behind, silent, fast. They fought under the starlight, plasma blades clashing. Rias won. The traitor fell, broken and still. Rias looked down at the body. "I remember you. You trained with me, ... on Earth." Tavron arrived. Illyra stood shaking. "He tried to kill me," Rias whispered. "The Hollow Ones don't just erase worlds, they infiltrate minds." Scene 7. New orders in the Ember Crown. The mood changed. Every crew member was scanned. Old command codes were updated. Security doubled. Illyra began creating anti-hollow protocols, a mix of Terran emotion data and alien logic. She called it Project Firelight. It can detect if someone's lost their soul, she explained. Havrin stared. "When if they never had one?" She looked up. "Then it's too late for them." Scene 8. The hidden weapon. Meanwhile, deep in space, the Hollow Ones moved again. But this time, not toward Neuraxis. They shifted toward a black system, forgotten by most, at its center. A red dwarf star and a silent planet beneath that planet's crust. A weapon slept, a Terran Omega device. The Hollow Ones didn't come to destroy it, they came to wake it, because it was once human, now. It belonged to the Hollow. Scene 1. A signal from the darkened, the Ember Crown's control room. Zero stared at a deep space feed. Unknown system. No active life. No trade routes. But a signal just lit up. Tavron leaned in. "Terran code?" Zero nodded. "Old code. Real old pre-fall. Omega class." Rias entered the room. "Show me the location." A red dwarf system blinked on screen. 1 planet, no moons. Illyra entered next, reading data quickly. That's Site Theta 19, where they built the Terran Omega weapons. Everyone fell silent. Tavron asked, "What kind of weapon?" Rias replied, "The kind you only use when the war is already lost." Scene 2. The Hollow reach it first deep in that red star system. Hollow ships moved like black smoke. They landed on the dead world's surface. Gold, ash-covered, broken dot, at the edge of a canyon. A massive vault lay buried. The Hollow Ones didn't speak. They didn't need to. The vault door crumbled under a gravity pulse. Inside, a chamber with a glowing core and 5 sealed capsules. The Hollow leader touched the central panel. A voice echoed in the old Terran language. "Warning, Omega-class weapon. Do not activate." The Hollow voice replied, "We are already beyond warning." Scene 3. Terran fleet mobilize. Osrius paced the Ember Crown's war room. "We go now, no delays." Zero hesitated. "That system's quarantined. If the weapon wakes, we end it before it wakes." Raya snapped. Illyra placed a hand on the table. We need to stop the hollow ones, but we can't destroy the weapon from orbit. It's underground. Tavran looked up. Then we go in. Scene 4. Infiltration. The Terran strike team arrived near the planet's night side. Small dropships. Silent approach. Rias led them in full Vanguard armor. Illyra came too. She had access to Omega encryption. Inside the vault, the halls were empty but warm. The weapon was waking. Lights flickered. Old AI voices buzzed. Omega core warming, DNA lock opening. Suddenly Halo drones ambushed them. Blades flashed, bullets flew. The team fought hard, but they were running out of time. Scene 5. Inside the weapon room, they reached the central chamber. There, inside a huge glass tube, floated a humanoid figure, tall, armored still. Zero stared. Is that a person? Illyra read the logs. Terran, Omega Unit 1. Biofused soldier, human core, AI linked, ultra-destructive. Tavran whispered, a human turned into a weapon. Then the capsule cracked. A red light filled the room. The Omega unit opened its eyes bright gold. Unfocused, Illyra stepped forward. Unit 1, stand down. The figure tilted its head. Its voice was calm, but not human. New war detected. Parameters unclear. Targets undefined. Hostile. Rias replied. Yes, hollow ones, not us. But the Omega unit paused, then turned to the Terrans. Terran status, extinct. Orders unclear. Rebooting mission. Rias raised his weapon. It doesn't recognize us. Scene 6. Hollow interference. Suddenly, hollow code flooded the system. They had hacked the outer firewalls. The Omega unit screamed, a sound like metal tearing through flesh. Its voice changed. Error, hostile input detected, kill mode activated. It began to charge up an energy core enough to vaporize the entire chamber. Illyra screamed, shut it down. Zero tried to block the signal. Tavran fired a shot at the control node. Sparks. Flying. But nothing worked. The Omega unit locked onto them. Terminate all organic targets. Scene 7. Illyra's Gambelira stepped forward, lone hands raised. Wait, she said. I remember Earth. She began reciting a poem, an old one, from Terran archives. A human story, full of loss and hope. The Omega unit paused. Gold eyes flickered. Memory detected. Cultural pattern. Origin match. Earth, Rias whispered. She's reaching it. Illyra placed her hand on the Omega panel. You're not a weapon. You're a person. You were built to end war, not life. The light dimmed. The Omega unit lowered its arms. Control restored. Hololink purged. The weapon deactivated. Scene 8. The final escape. The vault began. To shake, the hollow ones had triggered a self-destruct failsafe. Rias grabbed Illyra's hand. We're leaving now. They sprinted through collapsing tunnels. Tevron covered their flank. Zero carried backup data cores. Their ship lifted just in time, dust and fire behind them. As they escaped orbit, the planet exploded, taking the corrupted holotech with it. The Omega unit's voice echoed through the ship, awaiting new orders. I am ready for the next war. Scene 1. New home, old questions. Back on Neuraxis. The stars were quiet. For now, the Omega unit stood in the vault's central chamber, motionless, like a statue. Illyra watched it from behind a shielded window. Zero whispered, Can we trust it? Rias replied, It chose not to kill us. That's worth something, Tavroon added. Or maybe it's just waiting. Illyra said nothing. She was too busy finishing her code. Scene 2. What is Firelight? Project Firelight was Illyra's answer. To a terrifying truth, the Hollow Ones don't just kill. They erase minds, take memories, rewrite souls. Firelight was an AI firewall, not for ships, but for people. It scanned minds for emotional fractures, traced hollow influence through dreams, speech, even music. It was like building an emotional shield, but it needed something more, something human, and Illyra couldn't do it alone. Scene 3. Rias's memorial era entered. Rias's quarters. He stood beside an old photo, black and white, dusty, cracked. A woman, a child, an Earth that no longer existed. I need your memories, Illyra said softly. Rias didn't move. Firelight can't finish without a core. A human one. You're the only one old enough to remember Earth before it died. He turned, voice hard. Memories don't make you strong, they break you. She stepped closer. No, they save you, just like they saved the Omega unit. Silence. Then Rios nodded. Fine, but only the real ones, the ones that hurt. Scene 4, the upload the vault darkened. Firelight's central core opened a sphere of living. Code.lira connected Rios's neural link. His memories began to transfer. One by one, the fall of Earth, the cries of the last Terran child, the silence after the final battle. The oath he made, kneeling in Ash.C, URO, and Tavron, watched from outside. The Omega unit, silent, blinked once. Confirmed, emotional depth detected. Code accepted. Firelight online. Scene 5. Test of the mind. Firelight's first test was urgent. A new Terran recruiter of Valen had begun showing signs of hollow influence. Whispers in sleep, emotional shutdown, cold logic. She sat in the testing chamber, confused and scared. I don't feel anything, she whispered. I don't even feel afraid. Elira activated Firelight. The AI scanned her, fear pattern missing, joy missing, memory pattern unstable, hollow intrusion, 18%. Rios entered the room. Sarah, he said calmly. Do you remember laughter? She stared at him. What? Laughter. Smiling. What made you smile? Tears welled up. My brother, he used to sneak chocolate into training. She blinked. Emotion returned. I forgot that. Why did I forget that? Firelight glowed softly. Humanity restored. Sarah collapsed, crying. Rios held her like a father. Scene 6. A new kind of Warren, the Ember Crown's briefing room. Rios addressed his officers. The Hollow Ones don't just come for our ships. They come for our hearts, our truth. He looked at Firelight's floating core. Now we have something they fear, not just weapons, but identity, Elira added. They win by making you forget. We win by remembering. Scene 7. Across the galaxy. Word of Firelight spread. Small worlds, fearing hollow corruption, begged for help. Terran signal buoys launched into deep space, carrying Firelight's basic code to allies. Some species accepted it, some refused, and some tried to steal it. Scene 8. The betrayal late at night. Alarms blared in the vault. Intruders, a team of Krex Dominion. Commando's former allies had broken into the Firelight chamber. Their leader shouted, This technology belongs to the Council now. Earth had its time. Gunfire echoed. Rios and Zero fought hard. Tevron was wounded. One of the commandos reached the Firelight core. He tried to shut it down. You don't get to define humanity. But the core pulsed. A voice Voice! From earlier recordings, to be human is to feel pain and still choose love. The commando fell to his knees. Why do I feel shame? The Firelight core glowed brighter, because you still can. Scene 9. The choice after the attack. Rios met with the Galactic Council through a secure channel. Some demanded Firelight be shared, others called it dangerous. Elira stood beside him. We're not weaponizing it. We're offering it, freely. But we won't let it be corrupted, the Council asked. And if we refuse, Rios answered, then you fight the Hollow without it, and good luck winning a war with no soul. Scene 1. Silence before the storm. The stars were quiet. 2. Quiet Rios stood on the Ember Crown's bridge, watching empty space. Zuro entered with a report. Every outpost, every patrol, gone dark. Tavern's voice crackled through. Comes, Sir, we found something. You're not going to believe this. A live feed came through. The Hollow Fleet, hundreds of ships, twisted, dark, moving like a wave. Behind them, something bigger, a structure, shaped like a ring around a black star. The Hollow Forge, Rios whispered. They're not just attacking. They're trying to rewrite the galaxy. Scene 2. The final meeting. All remaining allies met on a secure channel. Varnock generals, Aquari engineers, Denva pilots, even some old Council enemies. Elira spoke first. If that forge finishes, the Hollow Ones will pulse their signal across the galaxy. Not just destroy minds, replace them, Devorn added. It'll overwrite entire species. Like a virus. Rios stood. This is it. If we fall here, there is no second chance. Everyone. nodded. Even the Omega unit, standing quietly beside them, spoke, "Request. Combat authorization." "I am ready." Scene 3. The battle begins. The Paeon fleet jumped into the dead system where the hollow forge spun around the dying star. What they saw was terrifying. The forge had absorbed old Terran tech, stolen weapons, stolen data. It had become a hybrid of human and hollow. Reyes said coldly, "They took our past. Time to take it back." The last war began. Ships clashed in space. Lasers tore the dark apart. Plasma storms lit up the black star. The hollow ones screamed not in sound, but through energy. They tried to pierce minds, but firelight burned through the network, protecting every pilot, every soldier, every soul. Illyra smiled. "It's working." Scene 4. Inside the Forge, a small strike team entered the hollow forge. Reyes, Illyra, Omega unit, and Tavorn. The inside was alive metal, breathing like flesh. Terran voices whispered from old memory banks. Tavorn looked around. They recorded our history and twisted it. A massive core rose ahead, the heart of the forge. It pulsed with Terran DNA, holocode, and something ancient. "Trying to become what we were," Illyra whispered. "Ry," as stepped forward. But they never understood what made us human. Scene 5. Sacrifice. The core began powering up, preparing to send a mind-wipe wave across the galaxy. Omega unit scanned. One way to stop this. I must enter the system and overload it from inside." Illyra shook her head. "You'll die." Omega eunuch looked at her. "I was built to end wars. Now I finally understand how." He turned to Reyes. "Thank you for giving me memory." Then he stepped into the core. He screamed not in pain, but in release. Light exploded from the forges. Heart. Every hollow ship froze, then crumbled. Scene 6. Firelight burns back on the Ember Crown. The data spike surged all over the galaxy on Varnak Denva. A query world's firelight spread. Old songs played, laughter returned. Children who had stopped speaking remembered how even planets that had fallen silent lit up again, not with power, but with hope. Scene 7. Aftermath. of Forge was gone. The hollow ones, broken. What remained of the Terran fleet returned to Neuraxis. Illyra placed Omega unit's core into the vault's memory chamber. He chose to feel. That made him real. Zero nodded. "So, what now?" Reyes stared at the stars. "Now, we rebuild. Not just worlds, but ourselves.